Welcome, Jordan here. Today's video, we're going to be discussing masculine intuition, and we'll get into what that means in just a second. And we're going to use this to really help us navigate business decisions, certain directions and moves to make in our life, and really cultivate this sense of inner awareness where we have an inner compass that is guiding us in the right direction at every moment. So, why is this important? Well, really, we've lived in a world that really heavily focuses on the mind, what you need to think about, what you need to do, what you need to take action on, and all of that is all part of this journey. But what we haven't spoken about for quite a long time in terms of us as a humanity is this understanding of intuition, this inner feeling, this sense of what the next move is to make that's right for us. Now, many people will refer to intuition as a feeling. That's one type, and we'll get into that in just a second. What we're looking to do is cultivate this sense of knowing, which is what I'm referring to as masculine intuition for this specific example. But it's not just for men, it's for women too. When I'm talking about this, I'm talking about an inner knowing where you know that you know that you know, and you do not need to fact check. You do not need someone else's approval on what you're saying. You just know. You walk around with this magnetic energy because you are so certain because you know. Not because you're bullshitting, not because you're pretending, but because you just know and you trust that within yourself. It's an inner compass. And this has been one of the strongest skill sets because it's a skill set that I've cultivated over the last number of years. And we all have access to this. So not only will this help you cultivate a sense of inner certainty within yourself where you just know the next move, you know what's right for you, and you trust that you're willing to take bigger risks because of that. But you'll walk around through life with this sense of magnetic energy where people feel that level of certainty. That's not performed, or it's not something that you're pretending or trying to do. You just have it and it's magnetic. Trust me. So when we talk about intuition, what are we really talking about? Well, we're talking about clear inner guidance. It's this knowing that we're talking about. It's a nudge, a feeling, a sense, and there's many different types. What you can refer to this as the proper name in relation to masculine intuition is called claircognizance, which is this deeper knowing. Clairsentience is the feeling, and clairvoyance is the visionary. There's also three other types we're not going to get into in this video, but there are three that you may have heard before or may be familiar with. So clairvoyance is the vision, being able to see beyond the physical reality. Clairsentience is this feeling in the gut or the feeling in the body, something's not right or something's off. And this claircognizance is this sense of inner knowing, this inner certainty, which from a mentor of mine was referred to as mantuition. So over the last number of years, I've been cultivating these different flares, as you could say, within myself. For me personally, I'm quite strong in the areas of clairsentience and claircognizance, this knowing and this feeling. Now, how I was able to do that, I'll get into a little bit later in this video as I walk you through how to really activate these skill sets and hone in on them more for yourself so that you can get the benefits from it too, because this is not reserved for certain people. This is something you have access to as well. I'll give you an example of where this really played out for me. I remember back in late 2022, I was running a marketing agency at the time, and I was doing inner work. I was exploring what it means to shift my identity. What does shifting my beliefs look like? Looking at my inner wiring, look at my past experiences throughout family, childhood. I was exploring these different things. I was getting clear on where I wanted to go in life. And I started to feeling clairsentience, this sense that there was something off in my life. Even though I was hitting the goals that I had set out for myself, a younger version of me would have been so proud, but something still felt off. There was something I wasn't accessing, like another level. And things were going well in the agency. I could have kept growing it. There was clients coming in. I was inside of my clients' communities, coaching their clients, and I was doing services for them. There was just this flow that was happening that was working, but something was off. And I was living in Europe at the time. And I remember there was one moment I was watching a course module from a life purpose course because I was pulling all the different threads, trying to find out what the thing was for me that I was missing or feeling that I was missing. And I remember watching this video, and the person in the video, who was the educator, said, "Your pain is your greatest purpose." And that just broke me down. I started to feel something heavy in my body, right? This sensitivity started to become more activated. And I started to explore that. Why was this line resonating with me? Then I started to go down these pathways around childhood. All of that being said, it brought me to this understanding that there was something here for me in life that was waiting for me to step into. It was waiting for me to take the jump. And what's funny was about 3 years previous to that, I was watching a lot of personal development content, content around spirituality. One of my biggest online virtual mentors at the time was Bob Proctor, who has now passed away. May he rest in peace. And I remember consuming that content and saying to myself, there's something here that is lighting me up, and I want to do something like this in my own way. But I didn't have the confidence to go for it at that time, which led me then down the marketing route and all of this other direction. And it reminded me in that moment that I was not trusting my knowing. In those times when I felt that pull, I wasn't trusting it. Now, it's not a bad thing that I went this other direction or started this other business because I got all of these skills, got all this experience. I was able to see how my life could be by doing these different things. And I developed a lot of character traits. It's all good. But I didn't trust that calling. When I started to look at the line that that man said in this video, your pain is your greatest purpose, that led me down this trail of getting to know myself deeper, my past patterns, the things that had caused me pain. And this was for no other reason other than for leading me towards what I do for work today, because that moment was the moment I leaned into trusting the knowing that I previously got access to, but didn't fully trust. Because this is a big trust game, trusting this knowing, trusting this feeling, and taking the leap. So, what I did was I packed everything up from Europe at the time, left Spain, I sent a suitcase back to Ireland to my old family home, and I left with about 7 kgs in my suitcase to go to Asia. And that kickstarted this whole journey of going deeper into myself and starting the business that I now run today, which I absolutely love with all my heart and all my soul. The reason I mention this is because that moment of transition was me trusting the knowing that I had all along, that clear cognizance telling me, I know that this is for me. I know that this is right. I know that this is my path. Now I just got to jump. Now I got to make the move because that's how I cultivated more of that intuitive sense that this is the right move to make. Even though I don't know all the steps, I don't know what's coming next. I don't know what the next 3 years are going to be. But what I do know is that this is what I'm meant to do. I'm not meant to do this other thing anymore. So that's really the first step in cultivating this deeper sense of knowing and certainty within yourself is that what is the thing that may be right in front of you right now that you're ignoring or that you're not paying enough attention to that is pulling you in the direction that feels scary? It feels like a courageous move. It feels like it's bringing up a lot of doubt, but there's something in you telling you that it's the right move to make. That's how you know. And hey, we can only really get to know this by taking the leap and trusting that we're going to be supported along the way. And this journey for me, that knocked its own set of dominoes. I connected with so many amazing people, mentors, communities. I was at one point coaching over 300 clients after that journey of making that move. And that led me to today. It was the most amazing decision that I've ever made in my life. And it came from trusting that masculine intuition, that knowing. Now, of course, this masculine intuition is for women as well. It is not just a man thing. We all have these senses. We all have the feelings and the cognizance and all of the other ones that are part of this as well. The clairvoyance and the vision. Some of us have different ones that are more alive for us. Cultivating this is sensing, trusting your sensitivity, and making a move with that. So now I'll share a little bit more about how I started to cultivate this on a deeper level, to be able to really trust my intuition and to even get these feelings or knowings, you could call them, in the first place. Because this wasn't always the case. You know, for many, many years in my life, these senses, these abilities, you could call them, were shut off. Because, I mean, we don't live in a world that really supports these things. Let's just be real. We don't live in a world that is cheering you on, telling you to trust your intuition. It is definitely more alive today when you find the right people and right people to listen to. But in school, in the systems that we see today that are right now starting to collapse more and more every year, none of this is encouraged. Everything is based on obedience and you taking orders from someone and outsourcing your authority to somebody else instead of trusting what's within you. So this is a big unlearning process. That's really number one. Understanding that the ways that we've been taught to operate within the world, they're not the optimal way for us to thrive. And it's up to us to take a stand and go in a different direction. So that's the first part. Unlearning and unraveling all of that, letting it go. Because some of this you may be listening and you may think that, well, that's not possible for me. That's for other people. That's for wizards or for people who have magic powers, if you even want to go down that route. And simply not the case. But we all have access to these things. It's just how willing are you able to bring them online by accessing your sensitivity and allowing yourself to be in tune with more of your feeling. So the next big thing for me with all of this was allowing myself to feel emotions fully. Now, this took some time. As a boy growing up, a lot of my emotions were suppressed. I felt that it was wrong to feel emotions. I felt that it was wrong to cry. It was wrong to feel sad. It was wrong if I wasn't always in a good mood. And this was incredibly frustrating because there was a lot of times where I felt a very heavy load of emotions and didn't know how to express that because I had no tools to do that. I had to go on the journey of cultivating that myself, making myself feel safe to feel emotions, creating environments for myself where I could do that, getting the right people around me that could support that. And I've had some incredible people in my life that I'm so grateful for that were there for me to be able to do that. Mentors and coaches and educators, and then just people, friends I made along the way. But for a long time, I did not have that. So if you don't have that, I understand. And that's not easy. But to take the steps towards this yourself and to create that from within is just allowing yourself to feel. I had a beautiful conversation with a client today. We were on the phone and we were talking about these things. And he and I, we got emotional on the call because there was so many beautiful things being said. We had such an amazing journey together. And we talked about this emotional side, especially for men, that is coming more online. Your sensitivity is in your emotions, your ability to connect with that, and your ability to allow yourself to feel. It's not wrong to feel anger. It's not wrong to feel frustrated. It's not wrong to feel sad. It's not wrong to feel anxiety. All of these feelings are simply just your body moving through whatever you're moving through. There really is nothing that we have to do in the moment of feeling to change it because the feeling is just there to be felt. You don't try to control the river by putting your hands in and try to redirect it. You just let the river flow. Emotions are the same thing. So allowing yourselves to feel those is a big, big part of this because as you do this, you unlock more of your sensitivity. You remove the barriers around emotions and you allow yourself to be a human being with emotions and feel them. And even getting to that point can be challenging. So I understand. For me, music, a movie, right? Now more than ever, tap into these things, and I'm feeling stuff, all sorts of things on a day-to-day basis. But previous to that, there would be just moments where emotion comes out. And the only thing I can really say to you in those times is just let it come out and hold yourself, remove any judgment, and just let yourself be in that moment with yourself without feeling like it's wrong or it's affecting your identity or who you are. Because this is the big thing that many men go through specifically. I work with a lot of guys, so I see this often where there's a narrative out there where if you feel emotion or you feel sad or you feel like crying or you feel an expression of emotions come through, and if that wasn't encouraged as a child or if it wasn't encouraged throughout your life, you're going to feel like it's wrong. And then you have all of these influencers or creators out there who are also coming with that same narrative, telling you that you're not a man if you cry. And it just couldn't be further from the truth. It's actually quite embarrassing to hear big influencers with big audiences talk this way because it's such misinformation. But it is what it is. So when you're allowing yourself to feel these things and you're allowing yourself to express in that way, what you're doing is you're actually unlocking more of your sensitivity. When you unlock more of your sensitivity, you will begin to understand that it is a superpower. A superpower because it brings all of these intuitive abilities online for you that gives you this inner sense of certainty. Like as men specifically, we want certainty. We want to feel confident and sure in our direction. But what better way to do that than to be tuned into what's going on around you, what's going on in your body? How are you feeling? This brings these abilities online, and then you can move forward with that certainty, right? Because the other side of certainty or confidence or whatever you want to call it is this kind of performed confidence, pretending and being the one who shows it but doesn't really feel it. And that to me is just not certainty. It's not confidence. It's false confidence. Like a mirage. It's not real. The real is when you tap into your ability to feel deeper. Let that come out and let that guide you with this intuitive sense that is being cultivated as you allow yourself to do that. And that's really the big component when it comes to cultivating this sense of intuition, this man tuition, if you want to call it that. This deeper sense that you know, and you're sure that you know because you just know that is something that nobody can fuck with. If you want to check out some of the resources down below in the description, you can do so. If you want to work with myself, there'll be options to do that as well. As you do this, what you'll start to notice is that other people will come to you for guidance, for direction, because this is what people are really looking for. And this is not something that is available to just one person, it's available to everyone. And it's up to us as conscious leaders and people who are moving things forward in humanity to really help people unlock these things within themselves, right? And for everyone to become a sovereign leader in their own life and then allow that to be the thing that moves everything else forward on a grander scale as well. Because here we're in an interesting time in the world right now. It's 2026 is the time we're recording this video. The next couple of years are going to be rocky. And this masculine intuition that we're talking about here is going to be your sense of discernment. It's going to be bringing you on the right path for you, or it's going to lead you in an incredibly wrong direction if you don't know how to trust that. So not only is this important for your own business decisions on an individual level, but there's going to be some uncharted waters to navigate over the next couple of years. And we are going to need to cultivate this sense of intuition so that we can discern what the right path is for both ourselves, our family, and humanity. So, with all that being said, you are the sovereign leader. Let that be something that ripples out from you. And I'll see you in the next video.